If you've ever found yourself saying, Monday, I'll start fresh. Next month, I'll finally get organized. Once the baby is sleeping through the night, I'll get my life together. Then this video is for you. Because there's this sneaky habit that many of us moms don't even realize we're performing over and over and over again. It's a habit that keeps us overwhelmed. It keeps us discouraged, discontent. It keeps us feeling like we're constantly behind. And surprisingly, it isn't laundry, it isn't clutter, it isn't even our kids' attitudes, although all those things can certainly contribute. The habit that's keeping many of us stuck is the habit of constantly starting over. And today, I want to talk to you about why this habit is so destructive, how it quietly shows up in motherhood, and what finally helped me stop living in a cycle of fresh starts and begin building rhythms that could actually survive my real life. But before I dive in, hi, I'm Autumn. I'm a wife and mom of 3 boys, homeschool mom and former teacher. Over the last several years, I've walked through a lot of different seasons of motherhood. My husband and I owned a restaurant for years, which meant there were long stretches where I was parenting largely on my own, while he worked nights, weekends, and holidays. We lived far away from my family, and we didn't have much outside help. We welcomed babies into the mix, we moved across the country, and just a few months ago, we finally sold our business. Through all of those seasons, I found myself asking the same question over and over again. Why do I feel like I'm constantly starting over? The lessons I'm sharing today didn't come from getting motherhood right. They came from getting it wrong enough times to finally see what was actually keeping me stuck. For years, I genuinely thought I wasn't cut out for routines. I wasn't cut out for schedules. I wasn't cut out for being organized. Every few weeks, I'd decide, this is it. I've had enough of feeling scattered. I needed a new morning routine. I needed a new cleaning schedule, a new planner, new goals, a fresh start. And honestly, for a few days, I would do great. Then somebody would get sick, we'd travel to see family, the baby wouldn't sleep, homeschool wouldn't go as planned. Life would happen exactly the way that life always happens. And instead of adjusting, I quit. Then I'd spend days or even weeks feeling behind before convincing myself I needed another brand new fresh start. Eventually, I realized something. The problem wasn't my routines, the problem wasn't my systems. The problem was that I believed that if I couldn't do something perfectly, it wasn't worth doing at all. And that realization changed everything for me. The first thing I started noticing was how much all or nothing thinking was fueling my overwhelm. Many moms unknowingly live by these rules. If I can't do the whole routine, I won't do any of it. If I miss a day, I've failed. If my house isn't completely clean, why even bother? And let's be honest, if you have little kids or you homeschool your children, when exactly is your house ever completely clean? This mindset almost guarantees discouragement and discontentment. I've lived this so many times. Maybe I plan to read my Bible in the morning. The baby wakes up early. The morning gets thrown off. So instead of reading later during nap time or after lunch, I tell myself I'll just try again tomorrow. Then tomorrow gets missed too. And before I know it, the week has gone by. I've done the exact same thing with this YouTube channel. I've missed a week because life got hard. Then suddenly it's a month later and I'm still sitting there thinking about how I need to upload a new video. What I've learned is that the goal isn't perfection. The goal is returning. Every time we convince ourselves we need a perfect streak, we make it harder to simply come back. The next thing I had to learn was that waiting for motivation keeps you stuck. I've never been motivated by someone telling me to get motivated. Motivation is unreliable. Most moms are waiting to feel energized, to feel inspired, ready, to feel less tired, to feel less overwhelmed. But motherhood rarely provides ideal conditions or circumstances. And honestly, it never will. And I think many of us secretly believe that if we could just feel motivated enough, consistency would become easy. But some of the most faithful things I've ever done as a mother were things I didn't feel like doing. Changing another diaper, making dinner again, cleaning up the kitchen, reading my Bible when I was exhausted, Showing up when nobody noticed, which, let's be real, is most of the time. Taking action when I didn't feel inspired. Proverbs 14:23 says, "All hard work brings profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty." There's importance to action. Action often creates momentum, and momentum is usually what people mistakenly call motivation. The third thing I learned, and honestly, this may be the most important lesson in this entire video, is that constant restarting destroys momentum. For years, I thought I had a consistency problem. I don't think that's true anymore. I think I had a recovery problem. Life was always going to interrupt my plans. Babies were always going to get sick. Vacations were always going to happen. Holidays were always going to happen. Unexpected challenges were always going to happen. The question was never whether I would get off track. The question was whether I knew how to come back from it. Most moms don't struggle. We don't struggle because we fail. We struggle because we turn every interruption into a restart. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits. The first miss isn't what ruins you. It's the spiral of missing that follows. There is no rule book that says you can't pick up where you left off. If you missed your workout for a week, do one today. If you haven't opened your Bible in 2 weeks, open it today. If you haven't worked on your goals in a month, work on them today. Strong mothers aren't the ones who never fall off track. They're the ones who know how to return quickly. Recover, adapt, keep moving forward. One of the biggest shifts in my own motherhood happened when I realized I didn't need better systems. I needed systems that could bend. For years, if something stopped working, I assumed either I was failing or my systems were failing. But sometimes the system didn't fail. The season changed. And that's the very different thing. Structured flexibility has become incredibly important in my life now. I think routines matter. I think morning rhythms matter, and cleanup routines matter, and table work, and having a framework for your daily life matters. But I also think motherhood requires flexibility. Energy levels change, kids change, seasons change, life changes. And if we're not willing to periodically step back and evaluate our season, we end up white-knuckling routines that no longer fit our reality. I did this for years, and sometimes I still struggle with this. Instead of asking whether my circumstances had changed, I asked what was wrong with me, what was wrong with my kids, what was wrong with my husband. Meanwhile, the real issue was that I was trying to force a routine built for one season into an entirely different season. Taking inventory of your season is one of the most valuable things you can do. And while we're talking about seasons, I think it's important to mention something else. Realistic expectations are not negative expectations. We are not limitless. God is. We aren't. We were created with limits. We need rest. We need support. We need dependence on God. And I truly believe our limits are gifts. They remind us that we were never meant to carry everything ourselves. They foster humility, dependence, trust, and a deeper relationship with Christ. Finally, what I've discovered is that contentment comes from sustainable rhythms. Many moms are trying to create an ideal life. What they actually need is a supportive life. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us how to become the perfect mom, the perfect homemaker, the perfect homeschool mom, the perfect wife, the perfect Christian woman. And if we just followed the right formula, then everything would finally feel good. But that isn't how life works. Contentment isn't found in creating the perfect life. It's found in faithfully stewarding the life you've actually been given. The goal isn't building a life that looks impressive from the outside. The goal is building a home and a rhythm that supports your actual season in life. A rhythm that helps you faithfully serve your family, that helps you pursue God. A rhythm that acknowledges both your responsibilities and your limitations. If I could sit down with the younger version of myself, the mom who constantly felt behind, overwhelmed, discouraged, and convinced she needed another fresh start, I think I would tell her, you don't need to be a better planner. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to start over again. You simply need to stop quitting every time life happens. Because motherhood isn't about getting off track. It's about learning how to return again and again and again. And over time, those small returns build something beautiful. If this video resonated with you, I think you'll really enjoy my video about why I stopped chasing self-care and did this instead. It pairs perfectly with today's conversation. And if you're new around here, I'd love for you to subscribe. I'm passionate about helping moms build more deliberate, grounded, and contented lives. And I'm so excited to continue to show up for you here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.